Welcome back. In this video, we're gonna try to find the domain of definition of this function. So f of x is the arcsine of x minus 1 over x plus 1. How can we find the domain of such a function? The first thing that we need to note is that this function is a composite function of two functions, the arcsine of x and x minus 1 over x plus 1. So to solve this question, we need to be aware of the domain of definition and the range of the arcsin. But first, to solve this question, we're gonna do it in such a simple manner. The first thing that we need to note is that we don't want to divide by 0, and therefore we need to have x plus 1 different from 0. That means the first condition is that x plus 1 must be different from 0. This gives us that x is different from minus 1. Okay, so this is the first condition here. The second condition is that this is composite, and therefore x minus 1 over x plus 1 must be in the domain of the arcsin, which is minus 1, 1. Okay, so this is how we get the domain. So here we need to have x minus 1 over x plus 1 must be in here. Okay, we don't forget this condition here, so we always have this one in mind. X is different from minus 1 because we don't want to divide by minus 1. Okay, we don't want to divide by 0. Sorry, don't want to divide by 0 when x is minus 1. So here we want to find the values of x that would satisfy these two inequalities. How can we do that? Okay, so there are many ways to solve this question, but I believe one of the easiest way is first we can't divide both sides by, we can't multiply both sides by x plus 1. We don't know the sign of x plus 1. Can be either positive or negative. We don't know the values of x. That's what we are looking for. Okay, so an easy way is we can add and subtract 1 from x minus 1. Okay, and this means that we're gonna have, if we do that, we're gonna have x plus 1 minus 2 over x plus 1 between minus 1 and 1. Okay, so now we can divide, since this is not gonna change the order. Okay, if this is positive or negative, it doesn't matter. We can divide. So here we get minus 1 between 1 minus 2 over x plus 1 and 1. Okay, now we add minus 1 to both sides. We have minus 2 over x plus 1 and 0. Simple algebra by adding minus 1 to both sides, to all the sides. Okay, now if we divide by minus 2, which is negative, we're gonna change the order. So we're gonna have 1 bigger than 1 over x plus 1 bigger than 0. Okay, now we are in a good place to start concluding. So this means that this quantity is positive because it's bigger than 0. 1 is positive, and therefore x plus 1 must be positive. And therefore we can multiply by x plus 1 both sides, and we will not have any problems. Okay, doing so, we're gonna have x plus 1 is bigger than 1, bigger than 0. So we are not gonna write the 0. We are not gonna write bigger or equal than 0 because 0 times x plus 1 is 0. So here we are here. So this condition here will help us find the domain. So we're gonna get x is bigger than 0 or equal than 0. And we don't forget the condition x minus 1, which is not here. Okay, we forgot about this. Therefore, we're gonna have only x is bigger or equal than 0. That means our domain is the set 0 plus infinity. Okay, so the set of positive real numbers. This is our domain. Okay, so this is one way of finding the domain of definition. This is one way. Another way that we can use is we can, if you want to, so we can study this function. So study this function here, and we find the values of x that will make this function between -1 and 1. So that's another way. So this is another doing it the algebraic way, the longer way. So we study this as a function, okay, and we see where this one intersects the lines 1 and -1. That means when we study our function here, we're gonna plug the function y equal 1 and y equals -1, and we're gonna see where our function, which is x minus 1 over x plus 1, what values would make x minus 1 over x plus 1 be between -1 and 1. Okay, we're gonna see that this one will be here. We're gonna see that we're gonna get only this one here. If you want to do it, you can go ahead and do it. So this is another way of doing of finding the domain. Another way is that we can do this by cases. Okay, we can study the cases here. Okay, so we can study the cases. We have different cases here. We can study 1x minus 1 is bigger than 0, 1x minus 1 is less than 0, 1x plus 1 is bigger than 0, 1x plus 1 is less than 0. And we can see where we can have this condition here. We can do that in a small table, and we can study the sign of this quantity here. But for me, I believe adding 1 and subtracting 1 would make it easier. So this is the quickest way that I can think of. If you see any other methods, please let me know. Okay, so this is the domain. The domain is the set of positive numbers. The range, we can find it easily now since we know the domain. The range is going to be minus pi over 2 pi over 2. So the range of this function is going to be minus pi over 2 pi over 2. We can prove it very easily. Okay, how can we do that? That's what we're gonna see in some other videos. Thank you very much.